Hello and welcome to Fraggle Talk Classic, the unofficial Fraggle Rock podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. My name is Beth, and together we are wrapping up Season 1.
My name is Julia, and insert something interesting to say here.
Shoot, I kind of threw you under the bus.
My name is Adam, and after wrapping up Season 1, we're going to put a whole bow on it. And then we're going to draw little happy faces on the wrapping paper, and we're going to put it right there under the tree.
Aww.
That's really nice.
I mean, it's February when this will come out, but
So the tree is on the side of the road next to the garbage cans, but there is a cute little present under it, and that's what counts.
Next to the garbage cans.
Next to the garbage cans.
Okay.
That feels on theme for the Fraggles.
Right. If Marjorie has taught us anything, it's that you can find amazing things in the trash.
Yeah. So we are going to be doing a recap episode, and we've also got some listener questions and feedback, which, can I just say, that's a wild thing to have.
I know, right? It's so great.
That I sit in my room and talk about a cool show, and then one of them from Germany, even somebody in Europe, is now sending us emails expressing joy and asking further questions. My mind is bending.
Right? The internet is magical. Oh, Adam's got his Fraggle mug. Yay.
Oh, yeah. Beth got me a Fraggle mug? Oh, yeah. Beth got me a Fraggle mug.
Wait, can
it's
you
got
show?
the solemn...
That's awesome.
Available now on the Tough Pig store.
Oh, dang. I haven't looked at the Tough Pig store for a second.
Yeah.
I was responsible for them putting up a new shirt around Christmas because we watched The Great Santa Claus Switch
That was so
for
good.
my Christmas article. And now the Cosmo shirt is on there. But I might have to go get one of those mugs and then drink from it when we're recording. That's cool.
You should totally do that. Do we want to just start off by talking about the season?
Yeah. General impressions.
That feels good.
How's the journey been so far?
Do you want me to go first? Because I have...
You probably have the most, kind of the most to say in the sense of this is all so new for you. This is all your first time. My
take is, if it goes first, it'll be the least tainted by the knowledge of your takes.
Sure.
Go for it.
I was pleasantly surprised by this show. And I continue to be pleasantly surprised and delighted by just the sheer level of intention that goes into this. I've always known that the Muppets were an incredibly well and incredibly intentionally put together group. But one of the things about the Muppets is that they really do suffer from sitcomitis, which is that you've got a cast of characters and they have interesting relationships with each other and interesting ways and situations that new parts of those relationships can show, but the relationships don't really develop.
Mm-hmm.
You just sort of have this really, and it's a wonderful atmosphere and a wonderful feeling of the family dinner table with a family reunion, and you don't half the people you only kind of know, and they're all weird and they're all doing their own thing, and that's great, but you don't get to see that grow. And I don't think that was a thing that I even realized wasn't there until I found it in Fraggle Rock. And I think the thing that I'm the most excited about is they don't shove it in your face. They don't have any very special episodes. Oh my God. Moki Fraggle decided to try alcohol and she crashed her car and now we're having a sad episode and all the people are going to talk to you, the viewer. Don't drink. And it's yeah, no, they're not spoon feeding us stuff, right? They're just hey, look at these people and their lives and they're kind of doing their best. And their best is not always great, but they're working on it.
Adam, remind me sometime to have us watch Cartoon All-Stars to the Rescue together someday.
Do I get to make fun of it?
Oh, absolutely. Do you know what it is?
No, but I can deduce it from context clues.
Yeah, you get to hear a bunch of the 80s most famous cartoon characters telling you why drugs are bad, including the Muppet Babies.
The irony of many of these characters existing only because of drugs is not lost on me.
How do the Muppet Babies know about drugs? They're babies.
Right?
They're Muppet Babies, though. Let's be honest here, Julia. Come on.
Okay. Sure.
This feels like a relevant time to, I wanted to sprinkle in some quotes and information that I found in the tome.
The tome.
The tome.
That didn't make it into the episodes that we've done so far, but are still relevant to season 1.
Oh, excellent. Please do.
So this one's talking about wrapping up the filming of season 1 and then the media reaction to it. And there's some great quotes in here. The Washington Post described it as a fresh and funny approach to mild, painless moralism, a saucy cuteness that's never merely precious or condescending, and adventures that exclude neither tots nor grandparents, nor anyone in between from the target audience.
They said it way better than I did.
Critics applauded Jim Henson's ability to offer moral insights without being preachy, introduce fun characters who weren't corny, and continue his unerring instinct to create programming that would appeal to adults as well as children. Kids can be vastly entertained, wrote Bob Weishart of the syndicated Newhouse News Service. And unless they have a heart full of unwashed socks, adults will be charmed.
That idea of like the characters aren't corny. I want to go into just a little bit more about that, because there are a lot of really corny characters here, but they're corny in the same way that like your uncle is corny, right?
Right.
They're not written as an intention to be part of a corny story. They're written because like sometimes people are just corny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had a student tell me that I was made out of dad jokes, and you know what? He wasn't wrong.
Yeah, no, accurate description.
And so I think that is the thing that I really, if I had to pick one word to describe this show so far, it would be earnest.
Yeah.
Because it really is.
It's a good word.
And I respect that, and there's a dearth of it. Especially in shows before the new golden renaissance of children's animation. There's just not a lot of that.
Yeah.
Legit.
I would love to hear from Julia next, given that you are the one rewatching this, and I would love to hear just sort of what your take on it is as somebody who hasn't seen it in a while and has been diving back into it.
Yeah, I mean, I was sitting here trying to think about when actually I last watched Fraggle Rock, and my tagline is 10 years, and I think that it stayed my tagline because full disclosure, we tried to get this off the ground like a while back, and then, recording this whole first season between the three of us, it was a little slow going at the start. And so I think when we first started this project a while ago, it was 10 years, but I think it's actually closer to 11 or 12 years at this point, because I think I was 21. So it's been a very long time since I've watched any Fraggle Rock. The only episode I've rewatched in that entire time is The Bells of Fraggle Rock, which is going to come up in a future season. Ones
for writing the 40 years later reviews.
Well, yeah, but we only just started those, and so for season 1, I think I only wrote one review, and so I watched. So I guess that's true. I did watch the Ragtime Queen episode before we recorded for this season, and funny enough, I actually already have watched one episode for season 2, so that episode will be a little bit of a cheat as well, because I'll have seen it a couple months before we record it.
Ooh, I'm telling.
Ooh, I know. I was in my article review for it. I was going to write this feels like cheating for my podcast, but then I took it out. So it's been probably about 12 years since I've seen this first season. And, I remember loving going through Fraggle Rock. I remember thoroughly enjoying it, coming home from, my job after college and just watching a bunch of episodes in one go in my not dorm room, I guess my crappy apartment at that time, and it filling me with so much joy. But there is a lot that I completely spaced on. I was trying to think. There's a handful of songs that stuck with me. I remembered Gobo being a jerk. It's funny. I remembered Red getting on my nerves a lot more, and not so much Moki. That was an interesting thing to discover. And then I remembered loving Wembley and Boover, which has stayed very true. But I think it's the growth and the way these characters are flawed, but in a way that maybe, yes, is irritating at times, but also we can see they are this way because, this is how they've been, but there's also so much room for them to grow. And we do see that growth throughout the season. I remembered the first part of season 1 Gobo. That's the Gobo that stuck with me, where he's snarky to his friends and he kind of says mean snide things all the time. But I didn't really remember the transition into season 2 as he kind of grows into this spot as a leader. He's the one that leads the charge in Marooned. He's the only one that doesn't blindly follow this premonition that the trash heap gives them in the very last episode. Mm-hmm. And so I was actually really impressed with his characterization. And even Moki, who we have spent so much talking about this entire season, like looking kind of where she ends up at the end of the season, you know, she's definitely not all the way there, but we can kind of see the trajectory she's going to be going on the next 4 seasons. And that's like, I don't know, that's so exciting to have a kid's show where characters are allowed to be flawed and it makes them feel so real, because it can show kids like, hey, you know, maybe you've said something like this and maybe you've done something like this, and, you know, here can be the ramifications of that with your friends, but also here are steps that you can take to kind of learn from the situation. And, you know, they're never like pointing fingers being like, this makes this character a bad person, they're a bad character, we shouldn't like them. You know, there is the room for growth and like the expectation that change can happen. And I so appreciate that. And we've also talked so much this season about, you know, how seamless the world building is. That would probably be on the bingo card for our podcast. And we say it a lot, but we say it so much because it's true. And, you know, I've seen The Muppet Show more than I've seen Fraggle Rock, and there is like seamless world building in The Muppet Show a bit, but it's also so different because it is a sitcom and it is a variety show, and the characters are pretty stagnant. So, you know, it's not that characters don't change through that show, but not to the same extent. It's more like they get rebuilt or a different puppeteer takes them over or something. And so this world, it's just, everything is so meticulously thought out, you know, the lore, the relationship between all the different creatures. And I'm sure that a part of that I remembered, but like just like the ecosystem and the relationships, there's just like so much that for whatever reason like didn't stick in my mind, probably because of my wonderful ADHD, where it's hard to remember things after a decade. But that is something I also really loved and treasured about like going back through this season, was seeing, you know, the individual journeys, but also like just the journey of like the collective Fraggles and the collective Gorgs. We didn't really get a ton of Doozers this season, and I do know that, I guess, small spoiler, that's gonna maybe be changing in the future.
I'm very excited for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been so nice just getting to go through it after all of this time. I also think like I'm such a different person than I was when I was 21, 22 when I first went through it. And it's not that like I wouldn't have like read deeper into all of these episodes, but I do think like, you know, I was a college kid just putting on Fraggle Rock to unwind at the end of the day after class and work. And so, you know, I was probably like having a drink and also playing games on my phone and being like, oh, this is so great, I love this show. But there is something about like going through it like both as an older person with more life experience and also for a podcast. I just said that I reviewed an episode for season 2 for Fraggle Rock, and I went into that review being like, I don't have much time. It's going to be so short. It's going to be quick. And I wrote so much for that review. Joe got back to me and was like, you went really in depth. And I told him that it was Beth and Adam's fault because it's so hard to now not watch this show and think like, I need to like analyze this relationship. And this is I wrote a whole paragraph about a 5-second interaction between Wembley and Gobo in that episode because it just stuck with me. And so,
oh yeah.
You know,
well, this show has little 5-second interactions that are worth writing paragraphs about.
Yeah, that like can define like an entire relationship between like where the characters were at the time. So
I wanted to touch on something that you said, because you said you're a different person now than you were when you watched this.
Yes.
I was meeting a friend of a friend years ago, and we were recommending each other books, which is always a good sign. And I was talking about rereading a book, and he was like, "Oh, I never reread books." And I was like, what? How do you, what? And he was like, what would I get out of it? And I'm like, no, dude. It's not that the books changed. It's that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, some of my favorite things to do is to reread books that I love after not reading them for a couple of years and just see what's in there that me as a different person now got that old me didn't.
Definitely.
And so I've been thinking about, like, little kid me watching this show would have loved the almost swore would have loved the dang songs, and I think he would have been really annoyed by a couple of people, but I think he would have really liked like the Gorgs and the Doozers, and I think he would have really gotten a kick out of just sort of the wackiness. But the really cool thing about stuff like this is subconsciously you pick up on all of it.
Right.
Like, one of the most powerful ways that we can teach with stories is like having stories that have lessons that are not said directly, but that are just sort of not even just implied, but implied and unspoken as a part of the just sort of world building rules of the story, which I don't know if that's clear at all.
Yeah.
But that is part of how kids absorb culture.
Absolutely.
And I'm really excited that so many kids got to absorb culture from this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think I would have loved this show as a kid if I had gotten to see it when I was younger. I remember seeing commercials for it when I was, I don't know, a very small kid, probably like on some other like Henson property. And I always wanted to watch it. I had one of those little Red in the Radish toys from McDonald's, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I never saw it until I was in my early 20s, and I got sucked into the world of all things related to Jim Henson. So this is, we can talk more about like the experience of the podcast and recording it. But I will say, along with getting to spend more time with y'all, like getting to go through the show has been just a lovely treat. It's been awesome.
Yay.
I want to hear from Beth now, as somebody who's a deep fan, just how watching this show through other people's eyes and just sort of rewatching it through a deep dive has been, because that way we will finish the trifecta.
And also, Beth, like a guesstimation, what do you think, like, what number watch is this for you for going through season 1? If you had to guess, like, how many times have you seen the whole of season? I guess the whole of season 1, or, certain episodes you've seen a lot.
I mean, we start with the tagline that I'm rewatching for the millionth time, which obviously it's hyperbole, but also because it's impossible to really calculate. Like, I'm genuinely not sure how many times I've watched it, and especially because, when I was a kid, that wouldn't have happened, sequentially. Like, I am sitting down to watch, all of season 1 in a row as a 4-year-old. Like, that did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
What happened was that it just kind of permeated my little developing subconscious, and it's the reason I loved radishes and would look for Fraggle holes in the basement. And nowadays, getting to see it through other people's eyes is so wonderful and valuable, and hearing different people's interpretations of the same things. Like, we can watch the same scene and interpret it totally differently. And that's been really valuable for me, who I was kind of alone in my Muppet nerddom for a long time until I found Tough Pigs and found people to talk about it with. And so being able to get those different perspectives and see how there's so much more to the show than I ever realized when I was younger, because of the different ways that you can interpret it and the different layers. And yeah, like, going through with a fine-tooth comb is super valuable and rewarding for part of my brain, but it wouldn't be as rich of an experience without the collaborative aspect of it.
Rad. Do we want to get to like listener questions and stuff?
Yeah. So, speaking of collaboration, we reached out to listeners to get some questions and thoughts and feedback, and we'll start with this lovely email from Jacob Jackson. Jacob says, I want to start by saying I am almost certainly older than all of you, as my earliest Henson memory is watching Fraggle Rock at my babysitter's house when I was just a toddler. I was born in April of '83, just after the season had first aired. Okay, you are technically older than us, but only by a tiny bit. You're older than me by like 2.5 years. The episode I distinctly remember featured a friend you will not be discussing for a very long time called Skinfrith. Oh, I can't wait for that one.
I don't remember who that is. Oh boy.
I'm excited.
I am also a teacher. Teacher high fives.
Hey.
Nice.
Get some sleep.
Yeah, for real.
Sorry about your back.
And I have had a Muppet-themed room for 9 years straight. I have Jim, Ernie, and Kermit above my desk.
Nice.
As a true blue, lifelong Muppet and Fraggle fan, I was desperate to listen to some podcasts and the like, so every few months I searched the podcast apps for anything Henson-related, and one of those searches turned up a new show that was kicking off quite the endeavor, a Fraggle Rock deep dive from episode 1 called Fraggle Talk. As I am sure you all may know, there are a few Henson-related podcasts that are quite entertaining, but there is something about Fraggle Talk that stands out. Maybe it is hearing from a variety of perspectives and familiarities with the Fraggles. It has been a joy listening so far, and I'm sincerely looking forward to season 2. Getting to the point of my email, I love a good ranking/list making segment and would love to hear either of these lists from you. Top 3 songs from the season and top 3 non-featured characters from the season. Thank you for your time. Let's all find solace in that we all hope the world does indeed get a little fragglier.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much, Jacob, for sending that in.
Yeah.
It's really nice,
I feel warm and fuzzy.
I was so happy when I read that.
Okay. Top 3.
I copied and pasted the list of the songs from season 1.
Which was so
It's
helpful.
so long.
It
oh
is.
my gosh.
There's so many of them.
There's so many songs.
And my brain is a broken thing where half of the songs I was like, I'm sure I liked the song and I can't recall it off the top of my head.
Right.
So,
Well, see, that's why mine does the same thing, and so I just stopped and I was like, all right, which songs do I remember getting really excited about?
There you go.
So I think the first one for me is the poem song when Red is trying really hard to be Moki.
Yeah.
Because not only is it just really fun, like you get to see some really excellent top tier tongue twister tantalizing temptation. That's the wrong noun, but I needed a T word. But just like songs as storytelling is something that is such a subtle art, and they managed to nail it so well. Because like, and I talked about this in the episode, but you're getting a really clear demonstration that like you can mimic somebody, but you can't mimic all of the little intricacies and subtleties that make them who they are. And if you try, you're going to stumble and fall.
Yeah.
So that's definitely on my top. I'm not going to do like a 1, 2, 3. It's just going to be a top 3. I gotta give a shout out to Try a Little Longer for Your Friends.
Absolutely.
If only because as a song, it's so versatile. You get this really sweet kind of stripped down support version of it, and then it also becomes like a big celebration.
Oh, that's right. The end version. Yeah.
They all sing it together, and it's all like, no, we made it. That's amazing. And I'm trying to find the version. What was the name of the song that they sang about the cowardly guy with the helmet? The storyteller Fraggle sang it.
Sir Blunderbrain.
The Ballad of Sir Blunderbrain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love that song, specifically because they were like, hey, what if we took Beowulf and gave it a funk bass line? Yeah, let's go with that. And it's a banger. It's an absolute banger.
Throw in an Odyssey reference that literally only Adam is going to pick up on.
Mm-hmm.
Some other nerds out there in the world got that. Some other... I can't be the only nerd there. I am a literary nerd, but I am by a long measure not the deepest or hardcorest literary nerd.
Fair.
So yeah, those are my top 3. Try a Little Longer for Your Friends, the poem tongue twister song, and the Ballad of Sir Blunderbrain.
Excellent.
I mean, for my 3 songs, 2 of them are no-brainers because they are 2 of my absolute favorite of all-time Fraggle Rock songs. And number 1 is Follow Me. It is the first song, excluding the theme song, of the entire series, and it's gorgeous. It is whenever I have the means and also finally the gumption to get wrist tattoos, I'm gonna get, like, I have a Sesame tattoo, I have a Muppet tattoo, and that's gonna be my Fraggle tattoo eventually, is Wonders Follow Me on one wrist and Something's Calling Me on the other wrist. I've known this for a decade, but I also know that it hurts to get wrist tattoos, and so I keep putting it off. And then the other one is Let Me Be Your Song, is one that's just constantly lives in my brain. Of like all of the Muppet song, that one is just always there. So I knew that those 2, no matter what, would be in my top 3, because they're probably in my top 5 of the entire series. And I was thinking also like Adam, because I was like, there's so many songs in the season that for whatever reason just haven't stuck with me because of how my brain works. So what has stuck with me, and it's weird, like I don't think they're in my top 3. A lot of the Junior songs stuck with me. I think just like his songs are just so catchy. They're kind of like earworms. But the more I've thought of it, the more I really like the song Ragtime Queen. It's just like this beautiful melody. Kathy Mullen's got such a great voice, and it's so sweet and bittersweet at the same time. You know, I think it helps that I reviewed that episode for the Tough Pigs article, and then I rewatched it for this podcast, so I also saw it more than once. But I think that one's up there for me this time around. I I really like just the melody and the sound of the song, and, you know, yeah. So go Moki, I guess. He made it into my top 3.
Good for her. She would be... I can just imagine her hearing that and just sort of puffing herself up.
Yeah, she'd be like, of course I am. I'm an artist. What about you, Beth?
Yeah, Beth?
Oh, gosh. I mean, you're right. It's hard to choose because there's so many good ones. And yeah, I'm not going to rank them. I'm just going to, pick out ones as I'm looking through this list. Like, definitely echo the Friendship song and Let Me Be Your Song. I would also throw in Once Upon a Time, I Knew My Name, when Gobo is, having this career crisis about not knowing if he's supposed to be an explorer. Mm-hmm. And it's just so, like, poignant, and I love that we get to sit in those moments of confusion and pain and not have the characters try and, like, immediately move on from, here's a problem and now we're immediately going to go solve the problem. Like, you get to have those moments of, like, this thing that I'm going through stinks and I need to musically process those feelings.
Can that feels like the great tagline for either the show or our podcast. Just like, this thing I'm going through stinks and I need to musically process those feelings.
I mean, we've gotten so many taglines by now. What were we going to steal from how Jerry Jewell writes? Manic humanism?
Oh, yeah, manic humanism. Yeah. Oh, God, that's... Manic humanism, this thing I'm going through stinks, and I'm going to process my feelings about it musically.
Perfect.
The Fraggle Talk story.
There was something about the theme song that I wanted to pull up here.
Yeah, also just shout out to the theme song.
Yeah, I thought about putting the theme song in my top 3, but that felt like a cheat because it's in literally every episode.
I also thought about putting the theme song in my top 3. There's, like, a thread on Twitter a while back about, like, theme songs you never skip. Mm-hmm. And my two go-tos are She-Ra and BoJack Horseman, because you just never skip either of those theme songs. Why would you?
Absolutely.
But Fraggle Rock, just that opening, it's every single time it sets the tone, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm here for this. Let's dance our cares away down at Fraggle Rock. Yeah. Let's go.
For me, it's Fraggle Rock and DuckTales.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely, DuckTales.
DuckTales? Ooh. Tales of Daring Do-Good and Good Luck Tales?
Ooh.
Let's see here.
Please hold while the page we are trying to find is located. Bum, 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 bum.
God dang it.
Your listenership is important to us.
Oh my God.
Thank you for keeping your podcast app running.
If you make it too good, then I won't be able to cut it.
Guess what? That's the gold.
Ooh, okay. So talking about...
Hello?
The creators planned that each 30-minute episode would include at least 2 songs, possibly 3. The songs were not intended to be add-ons. They would not stop the action, but move it forward. There was one rule the scriptwriters were asked to follow related to the Fraggle Rock music, said Jocelyn Stevenson. A song must always advance the story. We were not allowed to write, and they sing a song, in our scripts. We had to describe how the song fit in and its purpose in the story. They were integral parts of the storytelling.
That's how Sondheim does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's on record as saying, no, you don't sing unless you have to. And the singing is always a part of the plot. It always needs to advance either a character's motivations or decision or something that happens.
Yeah, those are the best. I mean, I'm a big Broadway musical fan, and those are the best kinds of musicals.
Aren't you, like, short?
What?
Aren't you, like, short?
Wait, what did I say?
You're like a big musical fan.
I am very short.
Little. You're like a little Broadway musical fan.
I'm a little Broadway musical fan.
No, I'm a large absent-minded spirit.
Oh my God. But those are typically the best kinds of musicals where either the songs are moving the plot forward and things are taking place and happening, or maybe it is a character stopping and singing to the audience, but it is like revealing something within them, or it's an I Want song. And, you know, there was like a big shift like in the golden era of Broadway where it wasn't just like, input a song right here about like, you know, something that's not super important to suddenly being like, oh, we could actually use the songs to make the musicals like even better. Like, I feel like I read something that Fiddler on the Roof was one of the first like big musicals that was like, we're going to start doing this. And then it just shifted all of Broadway. I love Broadway.
Significant improvement.
Yeah, definitely.
So another little bit that I found the answer to a question that we had asked earlier. The tome says, the end of the opening sequence was to feature one of the Fraggles delivering the final phrase of the song, Down at Fraggle Rock, an idea Balsam believes came from Jim Henson. Each of the Fraggle Five was filmed singing the final line, and the thought was to evenly distribute these throughout the seasons, but it was Boober's version that was most frequently used. So when we, every once in a while, like, see Boober but hear a different character's voice, that is the reason for it.
Yeah. Interesting, because I remember we talked a little bit about it. It was pretty early on in recording, so it must have been in the first half of season 1, where I feel like one of us saw an episode where we did get like maybe a visual of another Fraggle, but then like I think I only ever heard the audio over Boober. I can't remember, it's been so long. But I kind of assumed it was something like that, where they had thought of mixing it up, but then they just stuck with Boober. Because he's Boober. He's great.
Yeah.
I've got a question about this. So we're about to talk about our top 3 non-featured characters from the season. What defines non-featured? Like, not the top 5?
Yeah, not one of the big 5.
So that doesn't include, like, Marjorie or Matt, who are also in, like, most of the episodes?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I would say, like, maybe not even... Because, okay, I would say the primary characters are the Fraggle Five, Doc and Sprocket, and then maybe the secondary characters are, like, you know, Marjorie and the boys. And, like, I'm thinking maybe we're getting into, like, tertiary characters here.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, how, like, could I put Uncle Matt on? He feels, even though he's not, you know, in the plots in this season besides season 1, he is still in... I think it was there one episode this season we didn't get Matt? And that,
there's only one episode we haven't had a card.
And other than that, like, he still feels pretty featured because of how much he pops up. But, well, actually, yeah, I need to think about it for a second about who's my top 3.
Yeah, totally.
I've got 2 of my top 3.
I've got 1.
I say, yeah, just shout them out.
What is Wembley's friend's name?
Lou.
Lou. I love Lou so much.
Heck yeah.
I would watch a whole spin-off series about Lou and Wembley.
Mm-hmm.
I need to see if there's any, like, platonic Lou Wembley friendship fanfics on AO3, because I just want more Lou Wembley content, and I don't want it to be romantic. I just want them to be cool friends who actually support each other, and someone who accepts Wembley for who he is. That makes me really happy. That episode hit me really hard in the feelings.
Yeah.
But in a good way.
Yeah.
I love the story keeper, the keeper of stories.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the storyteller.
Storyteller. Yeah, I love her so much.
Mm-hmm.
I love her, like, manic Einstein librarian energy. And I just want to see more of her, and I hope we get to.
I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say we get to see her again at least a couple more times.
Glorious. And then, I don't know if this counts or not, but I love Philo and Gunge so much.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
They make me so happy. And I just love the idea of, it's like, oh, yeah, no, we've got this Oracle, but she's also just got, like, hype rats. And the hype rats are just there. And they, like, I think my favorite thing about it is they hang out. Like, they're good company. It's not just, like, they work there. This is, like, them hanging out with their friend and having their friends back.
Yeah.
And that's really sweet. They could have not had the extra dimensionality on that. But they were like, no, what if we, like, have little... Like, if we're doing an establishing shot, what if we also have little bits of dialogue, and they're doing stuff, and she's making them little nose warmers, and they're writing freestyling poetry at each other.
And reminding her when she's getting a little too deep into her
little
powers.
Too lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
They will help find her in the sauce.
Okay, so I think for my 3 characters, definitely World's Oldest Fraggle is up there. He's just so bumbling and silly, and, you know, him in this version, it's going to change in the newer Fraggle Rock, like hitting, is it Hinchy?
Hinchy,
isn't the greatest feeling, but it's also very much of the time the show was being made for like, just like this is a funny little moment. So I understand where it's coming from, but I like seeing the world old as Fraggle. And then I would say, we didn't get a ton of them this season, but like Flange, I think, is he the doozer who ends up in, is it the Great Radish Famine?
Oh, isn't that Dirk?
Is it Dirk?
No, so Flange was the doozer who
does Moki take along to the Gorg Garden?
I'm pretty sure that was Flange, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, how did I forget about Flange?
Yeah.
How did I forget about the doozers? Oh, man.
I just remember there was them being in the garden was like a great sequence of like different things happening between the three of them. And
yeah,
I mean, I guess like the doozers as a whole kind of are like secondary, tertiary characters. And so you could almost group them together, because while we have heard some names, and I guess also honorary mention for the song question, like the knitting song the doozers sang is also really wonderful.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Them in all their little sweaters. But I loved getting to see any of the doozers. Flange was just the one that like came to mind first. So them, I guess, as a unit a little bit. And then my third one's kind of a cheat, because it's like it's two characters, but like the differences between both Convincing John and Cantus being Jim's like two characters he plays this season, and how they're so polar opposite. And I know
how did I forget about Cantus?
I know.
Oh my god.
Cantus takes it for me over Convincing John.
Right.
Because we do get a bit more of him as a character, as opposed to Convincing John comes in and does his thing and has I believe he has some creepy teeth also. But yeah, Cantus is wonderful, and he, his song is Let Me Be Your Song is like up there for me for this season. But I always love getting to see him, and the way that he speaks is such a fun, very almost Yoda-ish, like riddle type of way of trying to help the Fraggles out, but then they have to like decipher what he's telling them. And I'm excited to see more of all three of those characters.
I actually do want to replace Philo and Gunge with Cantus, because I forgot about him and he makes me
Cantus
so happy.
Is great.
Yeah.
Can I actually share just a quick little thing about Cantus that I don't remember if I shared at the on the episode we saw him in or not. At my father's memorial service, one of the people who was on our church's board of directors with him when he was the president of the board came up and was like, Warren was a really amazing guy, and we really liked having him, on the board and as the president. And, we would be talking and chewing on something, and he would say, well, I've got a thought about that. And sometimes he would say something, and it would be the most like eloquent, really brilliant reframe, and we'd all have to sit there and go, wow, none of us ever thought about it like that. And sometimes he'd finish a long, elaborate metaphor, and we'd all just kind of sit there and go, what the did you just say? What? And I think that's part of the reason I really like Cantus, is because he full on reminds me of my dad in some really sweet ways. Because that was a lot of how my dad liked to interface with the world. He was a big believer in trying to say stuff in the most accurate way possible, even if that wasn't the most decipherable way.
Oh, I love that.
That's great.
It also sounded like you could have been describing yourself to some degree.
You're very sweet, and I'm gonna pause and hand it over to you to tell us your top three characters, Goober.
Oh, I mean, how can you choose? I mean, Junior Gorg is getting up there for me, but he's got a ways to go yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's hard to not pick Marjorie, because she looms so large in the show. It kind of like Traveling Matt level of like, she's there all the time and she's so important, but she's also
in her own like space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Gosh, I love when we've mentioned all of my favorites so far anyway, but like I love the little moments when a background Fraggle just steals the show. Like in the last episode that we were watching, when Red is trying to wrangle all of Moki's new super fans, and you just get the Fraggle like clinging to her like, please, I don't know where to go, help me. Just unnecessarily scene stealing, and I am so here for it.
Chewing the scenery, and it's so nice.
Can I say who my least favorite secondary character was this season?
Sure.
I don't know because I kept messing his name up in the episode. It's either like Melvin or Mervin or something. Marlin. Still can't do it. Still can't remember. That guy was creepy. Is that guy gonna come back, or is he gone? Oh, good.
He's gonna keep being creepy.
I'm not gonna look it up. It'll be a nice surprise when it happens.
I appreciate that they're like, also there are some creepy weirdos you gotta watch out for.
Oh, sure.
Like there's some cool, wholesome weirdos, and there's some creepy ones. Do we ever see Marlin in conversation with the double-chested bat warbler?
I also was thinking of that.
Milky Pace. I can just imagine we are going to create a thing that will control the minds of people. Oh, good! I am glad you're on board. Like it just sounds like the worst possible ASMR that you could imagine. I need it.
I think they're both voiced by Steve Whitmire, so that might be tricky, but.
It's just him with two puppets talking to one another.
You could
doing the worst voices.
That would be incredible.
I, as a dungeon master, can have two NPCs have a conversation with each other. Puppeteers can too.
Yep, and I'm sure they do between takes.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we should pause here to bring on our very patient. We've been talking for almost an hour now.
Holy cripes.
Let me. Gotta open up Discord.
Which cord?
Discord.
Oh, dat cord. Okay. I thought you were talking about the other cord.
No, this one.
Okay.
Discord is overwhelming because I'm on both of the Tough Pigs ones, and in the past there have been a lot of notifications, and eventually I was like, they gotta turn off.
It's overwhelming for you guys. I have to read all of them.
Oh my gosh. Becca Petunia of toughpigs.com and the Hubba Wah podcast?
Hubba Wah?
Oh my god, Becca Petunia?
That's right, we're recording.
I've only gotten to meet you the one time, and it was an amazing experience.
Well, it's an even more amazing experience now because Adam, I'm actually here to quiz you on what you've learned about Fraggle Rock.
Oh my goodness. I don't have to be the teacher role. I could be the student role.
No, that's exactly it. Unfortunately,
I have so many authority issues. I can flex like a long rejected muscle.
Adam, you're not the only teacher around these parts.
Oh, thank God. Okay, great. I'm going to go chew on a pencil and chew gum and text on my phone.
Great. Okay. So, Adam, you might not know this because nobody told you, but I'm the host of one of Tough Pig's other podcasts, Hubba Wah, which is a Muppet quiz show podcast. And I was talking to Beth, and we thought that since you've seen Fraggle Rock Season 1 for the first time, you might be ready for a Fraggle Rock-themed quiz from me.
Oh, yeah. I'm either going to have a hyper-specific, incredibly detailed answer or nothing. Let's go.
Well, for folks at home who are familiar with Hubba Wah, we just wrapped up our third season on the one of the other Tough Pigs feeds, the Muppet Fan Podcasts with toughpigs.com feed. We just wrapped up Season 3, which is going to be our last season for a while because I'm working on other stuff right now, which I'm excited for you all to hear. It's going to be exciting stuff as well, but I can't stay away from Hubba Wah too long, so here I am with a special mini episode. So we're gonna run through a couple of different questions. Adam, this is all you. Although Beth and Julia, if Adam gets things wrong, feel free to correct him.
Yeah, I may use a lifeline and phone a friend.
All right, and we're gonna play shorter versions of all of our classic Hubba Wah games.
Glorious.
All right. So,
all right, I'm ready.
Adam.
Yes.
In the first Fraggle Rock episode that was filmed, the 30-minute work week, 40-minute work week? 40-minute work week. There we go.
30-minute work week.
30-minute work week.
Is it 30 or 40?
See, it's 30.
I got the first question right. Let's go.
Trick question. Adam got it.
In the first Fraggle Rock episode, see, now this is what it's like teaching. Every time I start trying to say something, somebody interrupts me. I feel like I'm at home.
God, it's so nice to be the interrupter instead of the interruptee. Alrighty.
In the first episode of Fraggle Rock that was filmed, the 30-minute work week, the Fraggles' jobs are established. Adam, what jobs do each of the main 5 Fraggles have?
Moki harvests radishes. Boober does the laundry. Gobo gets the postcards from Traveling Matt. Wembley doesn't have a job, and eventually, if memory serves, gets a job as the siren for the firefighters. And Red... Oh, I'm 4 for 5. Hold on, don't tell me.
Red's the tricky one.
I don't blame you. This is a really hard one.
Red's the tricky one.
She's the one who organizes things, right? She's like the event planner?
You would think, but you're thinking of My Little Pony, where one of the characters has that job.
Doesn't she get lima beans?
No. Oh,
Only
she does.
in one episode.
She does in one episode, yeah.
What's Red's job?
Beth,
I'm
Julia,
4 for 5, and I'll take an 80%.
What's Red's job?
I dive and splash and swim and crash to keep the water clean.
Oh, right.
Correct.
She does the swimming in the... Okay,
Red's job is to clean the pool by swimming in the pool, which doesn't make a ton of sense. And in the remake, they changed it to a lifeguard.
Mm-hmm.
That makes so much more sense.
That's how I remembered, because we were confused about what exactly her job entails and how she keeps it clean. I think we guessed that like maybe her hair like helped scrub the pool or something.
That's always my assumption, but yeah, just because that's funny. All right, next question.
Alrighty.
Adam, what is the name of Doc's neighbor and Doc's neighbor's cat?
Doc's neighbor is named Schimmelfinny, and Schimmelfinny's cat is named Schimmelfinny's cat.
Adam, do you know Schimmelfinny's first name? Because you're wrong about the cat's name, but do you know Schimmelfinny's first name?
Ned.
It is
Ned Schimmelfinny.
It is Ned Schimmelfinny.
Doesn't the cat's name start with an E?
It does not.
Nope, not even a little bit. All right, I got Ned Schimmelfinny. All I remember is them being like, that dang Schimmelfinny's cat. So, no, I have no memory of what the cat's name is.
Beth, Julia, you want to help Adam out?
I do know. There's also now a dog barking. Hey, Richie! I think the mailman is here. I'm gonna need a second. Jesus Christ. Hey, one second. Richie.
These are the kinds of tangents we love.
Oh, yeah. Beth, do you know the name of Schimmelfinny's cat?
Schimmelfinny's cat is Fluffanella.
Fluffanella. I do remember that now that you have said it.
All right. Well, question 3. Adam, what two characters on Fraggle Rock are performed by Jim Henson?
Oh, God. We did this one already, right? That was Convincing John and Cantus?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, because they're both the two halves of Dr. Teeth.
Basically, yeah. Question 4. Adam.
Oh.
Doc builds a lot of useless inventions. What is unique about the bookcase Doc tries to build in The Terrible Tunnel?
It is a collapsible bookcase that can only be collapsed by putting a horseshoe into it.
Very good. I'm impressed.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I forgot that one.
Thanks, it's the autism.
Don't I know it?
Hey, my people.
All right. So now we're at the part of the show, the part of Hubba Wah, where I pause the regular questions and switch to Beat the Time.
Ooh.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Adam, there are a lot of answers to this question that I'm about to ask. Specifically, there are 25 answers to this question.
Oh, my God.
So we are going to, and this time I'm bringing in Beth and Julia, we are going to rotate between the three of you, each of you naming one answer to this until you can't name any more. And the question is, what are the 25 topics that Traveling Matt discusses in his postcards in season 1 of Fraggle Rock?
Oh my God.
Can you establish a turn order?
We are going to go Adam, Julia, Beth.
Cool. Sheep shearing.
Sheep shearing is 1. All right. Julia?
Feeding his parking meters, feeding money into parking meters.
Feeding money into parking meters is another. Thank you, Julia. Beth?
Hatching rainbows.
Hatching a rainbow on a chicken farm. Yes.
Smoking cigarettes.
Smoking cigarettes. Correct. Not on Apple TV, but it did happen. Julia?
I got a dog growling in the background right now. The boomerang, the stick that comes back that he's fascinated by. Yeah.
Boomerangs. Correct. Beth?
Lawn-eating creatures that are lawnmowers.
Correct. The lawn-eating creatures, the lawnmowers. Good.
Ice. A magic rock that cries when it's stolen.
Ice. Absolutely. All right. Julia?
Kangaroos?
Kangaroos, correct. In the final episode
Yeah.
of the season, the one you spoke about the most recently.
We were baffled about how he got to Australia.
In the first one, I think he encounters a fire hydrant and some cars.
Yeah, I counted those separately, Beth. So
okay.
I guess you just stole 2.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, well, I'm gonna, because cars come up more than once, and I'm specifically going to talk about him learning how to speak car.
Okay, I will give that to you then. I only counted cars once, but I will give it to you, Adam, and I will take the point away from Beth. Julia.
Isn't there one where he like kind of accidentally like panhandles in a mall where he has a cup and then someone puts money in it and he buys a donut? Is that
Correct.
right? Okay.
That absolutely does happen. I grouped that with the one where he discovers that money is for throwing into fountains, because those are both about money.
Well, there goes the one I was going to say of throwing money into fountains. Oh, shoot. Now we're reaching the limits of my memory.
It's hard also because you can't name any of the ones from later seasons.
Right? I was like, no, that one was from Back to the Rock. I can't.
Yeah, the one from... There's some ones from Back to the Rock that I won't spoil that are pretty funny.
Right? Oh, man. Oh, I did not prepare for this quiz show.
Well, I did.
That's what makes it good. We're here, we're raw, it's organic.
Pass.
And next time, maybe you should study the notes.
So many pages of notes.
Come to extra help.
Aww.
I'm here every day. I'm here every day from 2 to 2:30. And you know what? Only one student ever shows up. So this is maybe not my fault.
I was gonna. I'll come tomorrow, but can you change my grade today?
Listen.
I'm also not listening to you because I'm watching TikToks.
Listen. Adam. I gave you this grade because you couldn't name any more of Traveling Matt's postcards from season 1 of Fraggle Rock.
But I can name one. I'm just waiting for Beth to take her turn.
I said pass.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Oh, in outer space, the Doozer buildings are way harder to eat.
That is true. Julia, do you have another?
Roller coaster. He rides a roller coaster next to Dave Goals.
Absolutely, rides a roller coaster next to Dave Goals. Beth.
Wow. So much for claiming to have seen the show a million times. Pass.
Adam?
Chewing gum. Weird little creatures whose tongues explode.
Chewing gum, absolutely. Tongue explosion.
Just had to make weird sounds until I found it.
He meets a bunch of pigs and he puts on a pig nose.
He meets a bunch of pigs and he puts on a pig nose, correct.
How many are we at, by the way?
Oh,
How many
boy.
have we gotten?
There are 25 total, right? There's still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 remaining.
What?
Yikes.
I've got 2 more, I think, but that's all.
Oh, God. I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel here. I asked you that question to buy time.
Well, Doc invented a barrel scraper, so maybe you could use that.
He did. Oh, gosh. I gotta pass on this one. Julia, save us.
There's one with kites.
There is one with kites.
Oh, wow. I forgot that one was in season 1. You're right.
Yeah.
That's in the second episode, Wembley and the Gorgs.
That's right, because we were commenting on, like, hey, they're talking about, like, freedom in episode 2 of season 1.
Episode 2, sometimes slavery feels like freedom. That's the second lesson of Fraggle Rock.
Whew, spicy.
Oh. Sorry, is it my turn? I finally got one.
It is your turn.
Yeah.
Umbrellas.
Umbrellas, correct.
Oh my God, I don't remember the umbrella one at all.
It's a magical way to bring water from the sky.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of pipe banging, that's what the silly creatures have.
Okay. Is there one about snow?
There is not one about snow.
Dang it. Okay.
There is in next season, because it's the one episode I watched to review. There was snow in that one. Oh, and I think the other one I was thinking of, because I'm pretty sure I was conflating it with, like, I remembered something about eggs, but I think that was the rainbow one where he thinks the rainbow hatch.
That is the rainbow one, yeah, so we've done that one.
Then I currently don't have any more.
Beth, unless you've got one, I'm calling it.
He meets a marionette.
He does meet
yeah.
a marionette, a string creature. Beth, any others?
I'm tapped out.
Okay, so ones you missed. From the first episode, he technically talks about 4 things in the first episode postcard. Cars and fire hydrants were 2, but also children holding sporting goods that he claims are a band of warriors with weapons.
I just remembered another one. All right.
And
Continue.
Sprocket the dog is mentioned specifically in the first postcard.
Whew.
Also, in the second episode, along with kites, he does mention another type of creature that wants to fly but is imprisoned by its tail. And I have, of course, speaking of balloons.
Balloons.
Ooh.
He speaks about the silly creatures who sew holes in things when he sees fishing nets
the fishing
on the Fraggle
nets.
pond.
Yeah.
Ice cream is a very cold moss pack.
Right.
Oh, I was gonna say ice cream, and then I thought I was making it up.
Same.
Mannequins, who are, of course, very good at relaxing.
Forgot
And
about that
meditation,
one.
yes.
Right. Yeah.
And skateboards.
Skateboards was one. That's the one that came back to me. Yeah. Dang.
All right, so we're gonna move back to some regular questions.
Oh yeah.
So next question, Adam, what was the lost treasure of the Fraggles?
A music box.
It was a music box. That was the episode I was on.
It's so good.
Question 6. When Gobo gets boarded outside Fraggle Rock in Doc's workshop, what largely useless piece of advice does Marjorie give the other Fraggles?
She says, oh, that's a great question. I think she says, like, just don't worry about it and it's going to be fine.
She sort of does, but she's got another way of phrasing it.
I don't remember the other way of
That
phrasing
is the title of an episode.
That doesn't help at all. Beth, you got this one? Julia, you got this one?
I cannot remember off the top of my head.
She says, "Don't cry over spilt milk."
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
She does say don't cry over spilt milk. Question 7. In the episode Catch the Tail by the Tiger, Gobo is afraid that Matt has been hurt since he hasn't heard from him for 2 weeks. What has kept Matt from sending a postcard for those 2 weeks?
He's got the flu.
Got it, Adam. And last of these regular questions before we move on to the final question. What must be done to stop the Great Radish Famine?
They all need to come together and realize what unites them.
Okay, so
They need to bring... Oh, the specific instructions are they need to bring 1 Gorg, 1 Fraggle, and 1 Doozer into the garden.
more specific.
There's 1 Gorg, 1 Fraggle, 1 Doozer into the garden and sing a song. They need to sing a song together.
I'm tapping my watch because that's a clue.
Oh, at midnight.
At midnight, correct.
There we go.
And we're going to move on to our final question.
The final question.
According to the song... Oh, I mean, I guess I should do this like I do on... I'm dropping all the format of my show. I don't know. My show...
This is a very loosey-goosey episode.
Yeah. So, Adam, this is our final question. And you could bet any amount of points, but you know what? I forgot to total up how many points you have.
I'm going to bet 2 cups of tea and a hug.
That's a great amount of points.
So, here's what I'm gonna ask, right? If all of you, like always, you can all answer this final question, I want you to name, according to the episode You Can't Do That Without a Hat, as many things as possible that you can't do without a hat.
Oh.
So, if you open up your Zoom chat window, I want you to type in as many of them as you can, or type in nothing if you can't think of anything you can't do without a hat.
I got nothing.
You're referring specifically to the song?
Yes, I'm sorry, I should have made that clear. According to the song that they sing in that episode, what are some things that you can't do without a hat? I have 12 written down. Okay, Adam has sent an answer. Julia, do you have anything?
I don't have anything. I've been sitting here trying to think of like a legit answer, and I can't think of anything. So I don't know.
Beth and Adam, you're typing in answers very quickly. Let me know when you think you're done.
I think that's my last one.
Beth, do you have any other ones?
I can't recall the specific song right now. Oh my gosh.
Real? I thought that you would have it memorized, Beth.
Right? If I had just listened to it, I would have remembered more, but this is a song that is not available on, like, it's not on Spotify, and so I don't listen to it over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
It was on the vinyl and the CD re-release.
I know, and then they pulled those from Spotify.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so you each contributed different answers, and I'm gonna read what you sent me right now.
Yes,
So,
please.
I should try to do it in the tune of the song. So according to Adam, will you can rescue a missing friend, fight God, make a union and overthrow the ruling class, but you can't remember the lyrics to You Can't Do That Without a Hat. Without a hat. So Adam, of those 4, 0 are correct. Julia, you've presented Well, You Could Stick It to the Man and nothing else.
That's all I got.
You can't do that without a hat. But no, that's also not in the episode. And Beth, you suggested You Can Huff and Puff, something, 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 and all that stuff. But you can't do any of that without a hat. Well, Huff and Puff is right.
I remembered that one.
Oh.
Got one.
Beth, you are correct. Beth, I feel like you maybe have the most points. I should have counted better.
Not if we're including all of the questions that were just for Adam.
True, that's true. Adam, you know what? Well, I mean, I'm looking because you cleaned up some of the ones that were for Adam. But anyway, the correct answers, if you're wondering, those of you at home, I will list them real quick.
Also, those of us on this podcast.
Yes, I will list them and not sing them because then I'd have to sing the whole song. You could go take a bath, figure out math, eat a doozer tower on the garden path. You could ride on your bike. You could go fly a kite. You could make a sticky sandwich in the middle of the night. You could talk real tough, huff and puff, say you didn't mean it, and all that stuff. And of course, you could be real brave, be real bold, overcome a danger just as good as gold. But you can't do any of that without a hat.
Dang.
Thank you for that. Wow.
We've come to the end of another one. Adam, you definitely have the most points because some questions were directed only at Adam. But Beth and Julia, you also did very well, except maybe not as well on that You Can't Do That Without a Hat question.
Yeah, that was awful.
See, I'm going to go ahead and just assume that me having the most points is indicative of my inherent merit and skill instead of being indicative of a skewed system. And so I am going to walk through life with an overinflated sense of self-worth as a result of that. Thank you. Except not thank you, because I earned all of this, clearly.
Well, if an overinflated sense of self-worth isn't a prize enough for you, those of you who know Hubba know that I always give prizes to winners. And today you are all winners. So, Adam, can you think of a Fraggle Rock character that you would like to have art of?
Cantus.
Okay. Julia, can you think of a Fraggle Rock character that you would like to have art of?
I want the hairy-chested batworm.
Oh, absolutely.
Just because I want you to draw that character.
I will.
That creepy character.
And Beth?
So I already have Marjorie and Philo and Gunge from when I was on Hubba. Can I get the storyteller?
You can get the storyteller. All right. So I'll make those soon, and when I make them, I will be sure to share them on the Tough Pigs Discord. Plug.
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 But thank you so much for having me on your podcast, so I could do a weird kind of loosey-goosey bonus episode of my podcast.
Yay!
Thank you so much for coming on to the weird loosey-goosey episode of our podcast to do a weird loosey-goosey episode of your podcast. Shout out to Hubba Wah.
Yeah.
Y'all should go listen to it.
It's on hiatus now, so this is the perfect time for folks to go binge and catch up.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something like 29 episodes of Hubba Wah, I think, plus there's the one episode of Moving Right Along that I hijacked to make into a Hubba Wah episode. And then there's the one episode of JD's podcast where he made it into a Hubba Wah episode.
That's right, yeah.
Yep.
So there's like 32 episodes of Hubba Wah. The perfect length for you to listen to while I work on my next project, which I will not tell you what it is, just in case I decide I don't want to do it.
Smart.
Amen.
Yeah, this is the perfect time to listen and catch up. Or if you're not a ketchup fan, the podcast also goes very well with mustard.
I prefer mustard.
I like both.
Anyway, I'm gonna head out in a second, but I guess I should do my plugs,
Yes.
which are
Please do.
mostly for Tough Pigs, which you guys plug anyway. But we got some good stuff on Tough Pigs. That's the best place to find me. Again, the Tough Pigs podcast feed, also writing for Tough Pigs, sometimes doing art for Tough Pigs. There should be some art going up soon. Tough Pigs Discord, like I mentioned, I'm one of the moderators of the Tough Pigs Discord. We have fun there.
Thank you so much for that. You and Katie Lynn are doing amazing work.
I know it can be a little overwhelming, but I promise if you just drop in and say what you want to say, the deluge of posts about whether Telly Monster is good or not, you can just make your comments and it'll be fine. The Telly Monster fans can talk around you. But so that's a great way to find me. On social media, I'm at Tall Girl Petunia on most social media platforms. I'm not at Tall Girl Petunia on X, Twitter X, but I don't really use Twitter X that often. You're probably better off finding me on any of the other social medias. I don't know, Instagram's nice. I post pictures of my cat sometimes. And that's that. Thank you so much for having me on this podcast.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
And I will get you guys your art.
I'm excited.
Yay!
You'll have to come back in the next season or two to do another episode with us.
I would
We
love
would love to have you.
Absolutely.
I would love to. I'm excited to actually, hopefully, get a good Junior Gorg episode to talk about because there's
would
some
be
good
nice.
ones up ahead.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can I-
All right.
Can I just leave? How do I leave?
Yeah,
Where's
I
the
think you
door?
can
We're going to let you
Where's
go.
the
hold on.
door?
Da-da-da-ba-dum-bum. Perfect.
She's gone.
Oh, excellent. Okay, should we dive back into listener feedback?
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Our next email is from Puffin, who says, "Hello, Fraggle Talk team.
Hi, Buffin.
I know you were looking for some audience participation things for the bonus episode of Fraggle Talk Classic, and I figured that since I am German and grew up with the German Fraggle Rock version, I might provide a fun fact about this international version of the show that, to my knowledge, is not included in the Muppet Wiki. Brackets, beloved. There are only 2 episodes where German Doc actually calls Sprocket by his full name. In the pilot episode Der Anfang, and in the episode where Doc forgets about Sprocket's birthday because he is engrossed with a book about awareness.
Ha.
I love that. In all other episodes, Sprocket's name is shortened to Sprocky.
Sprocky.
Sprocky? I'm not sure why that is, but a very common theory in German Fraggle Rock enthusiast circles. Oh my god, let's just appreciate
Nice.
the phrase German Fraggle Rock enthusiast circles. Heck
That's
yes.
That is very good.
Theory is that the actor, Hans Helmut Dickau, had trouble pronouncing Sprocket. Another theory is that the name wasn't considered cute enough, and thus adding the E at the end, which we do in German to essentially cutify a name or thing. For some more name changes, Convincing John is called Johannes, and Gunge becomes Gungo. I'm aware that this mail might well be coming too late for its intended purpose, but I wanted to fact-check myself and included going through the entirety of the Doc and Sprocket segments, which took a few moments. Oh my gosh, Puffin, that's incredible work that I appreciate deeply.
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I really love and enjoy the podcast. I'm looking forward to the new episodes. Loads of love from Germany. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Puffin.
Thank you so much, Puffin.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and if any other listeners out there grew up with the versions other than the Canadian one, yeah, drop us a line. Tell us how they were, different from the main one that we're talking about. We would love to hear more about the international versions.
Yeah. That is genuinely fascinating to me and one of my favorite things. I'm trying to think of a show that has done that besides this, and I genuinely can't.
I could just think of Sesame Street has a ton of, international versions.
Yeah. And that's, one of the things we talked about in the first episode is that Duncan Kenworthy, the guy who, he was one of the spearheading members of Fraggle Rock and helped figure out how to make this show international from the very beginning, was working on, I believe, the Arabic version of Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Beth, am I making it up? Doesn't Doc in this first season, don't we hear him call Sprocket Sprocky like Not a ton, but a time or two. Am
Yes.
I wrong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that happens.
So it transcends a little bit, but he does mostly call him Sprocket. Occasionally he gets to be Sprocky.
Yeah.
Can I read the couple of comments from this person on the Discord?
Please do.
This is from Ren on our Discord. Thank you, Ren.
Hi, Ren.
One thing about the lack of nuclear family structures in the show, if I recall from the visual history, it was almost going to be a mommy, daddy, kids, and grandparents cast of characters back when they were also called the Wuzzles. And deciding against that is, I think, one of the stronger points in the show that made it feel less for kids only. They were targeting a transitional demographic, kids in school and thus away from their parents for part of the day, and de-emphasizing adult-child relationships in favor of peer relationships, which is a more all-ages applicable and personally at least made me think, on my first watch in 2020, more of a living in student housing in college. Sometimes you have to be the boober and do everyone's dishes. Moki is the prototypical mom friend with her own issues, and Wembley is every undecided major ever.
Yeah.
Which... yeah, I love this, and you're, in my opinion, 100% spot on. Thank you so much for sharing that particular detail, because you're right, that does emphasize that level of peer relationships, and that it's not necessarily even family. It's just like, no, these are the people that I am with every day, and I get to figure out how to interact with them.
Yeah.
One of the things that's really important to me, at least developmentally, is the idea of social consequences, the idea that, like, yeah, you're a kid, and like, yeah, we talk about, you know, keeping a safe body and making sure that we're playing safe with our bodies, but how do we make sure we're playing safe with our words? How do we make sure we're playing safe with our intentions? And it's a really difficult thing to talk about because it's really hard to quantify, and this show does a really good job of demonstrating that.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well put.
Ren also had a really sweet thing where they said, this is barely relevant, but Adam reminds me of the lead vocalist of Cheek Face. And then they included a song, which, as the only prep that I did for this episode is I listened to that song. The song is called Don't Stop Believin' by Cheek Face. And I loved it, and I'm going to listen to the rest of the album. So thank you for the compliment, Ren, and thank you for introducing me to a new artist.
Yay! Oh, that made me so happy. Yeah, I hadn't heard of them before either.
Have you gotten to listen to the song? Because it is, in fact, very me. I feel
oh, I'm definitely
the mortifying ordeal of being known.
Yes. I mean, you're about as known on this podcast as a black square unknowable entity can be.
Good. Also, hold on. Who told you I'm a square? You don't know how long my sides are. You don't know if they're congruous.
I believe that was from the episode where your video cut out and you were just a black square for a while. Or I guess a black rectangle.
Thank you, rectangle.
Sorry. I know it's important to use the correct terminology.
It's super not, but I appreciate you playing in the space with me.
Oh, yes. And then a bunch of people in the Discord, Katie Lynn, Anthony, Kellerific, all want to hear Adam's theories for Season 2.
All right then, children. Hello, and welcome to Adam's Theories for Season 2. Now, as we've previously established, this show does in Season 1 a great... I'm not going to do the voice for the whole thing. I'm not. I thought about it, but no, I don't. If you in the Discord can clock who I was doing an impression of there, I will be highly impressed. Because that is a very specific impression of a very niche voice. One of the things that I really like about shows that go on for a while is you get to see them start off with the idea of what they want the show to be, and then over the course of Season 1, you get to see them figure out what the show actually is. You see this, my favorite example of this is Better Call Saul, which is an amazing show. And if anyone who really likes Breaking Bad, I highly recommend it. And one of the big obstacles people have is the first season kind of drags. And the first season goes on for a little while, and it takes a little while to try to figure out what it actually is. They walk in with the premise, but then they sort of are clearly fleshing it out. And this show already feels very fleshed out, and watching them explore the space has just gotten more and more organic. So I think for Season 2, what we're really going to see is them building on this foundation. Because we have a really strong foundation. We've got pretty clearly defined interpersonal relationships with our main characters. We've got a world building that has a pretty solid core of understanding, but also has a lot of open space to fill in on the map. And we've got these relationships between these societies that we as viewers have a better understanding of than the people who are actually in them. It reminds me a lot, actually, and I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast, but there was a really good video essay that I cannot for the life of me remember where I saw it. I think it might have been Movie Bob, But he's talking about why Die Hard is such a fun movie. And he says it's because we as the audience know what's going to happen before the characters do. All of the like major beats for Die Hard get set up where the characters don't know what's coming, but we as the audience do. And it gives us that giddy anticipation of like, ooh, that's going to happen. And then it does, and we're like, ooh, the thing happened. And it really does feel like that's what we're setting up. That's what the writers are setting up here, that we're getting a chance to see the ways that these societies are interrelated, and also that they don't realize this. And so I think what we're going to get to see is more of these characters discovering that. And we're going to see them processing it through the clearly defined interpersonal relationships. And we're going to see them trying to figure out what it means. And I think there's going to be, like, if this show continues to be as natural as it is, there's going to be a lot of mistakes and a lot of misinterpretations. And I hope that we get a chance to see them work through that messy thing to get onto the same page. Because that, for me, is the really beautiful thing. You gotta... The reason that we are not all one hive mind, the reason that we are not just, like, immediate telepathic communicators, is because there is a beauty and a joy in the messy, awkward, incredibly difficult work of trying to get onto the same page and to establish that, like, yes, this thing that I am saying, which is encoded in all of my cultural memetics, will translate to this thing that you would say, encoded in all of your cultural memetics. And that means that I can actually say what I mean to say to you in a way that you will hear it. And I don't think we're going to get there for season 2, but I think we're going to see some more of the messy, awkward steps in that process, and I'm really excited for that.
Awesome. This
has been another one of Adam's theories about what will happen in season 2. Thank you.
Wait a minute. This has been another use of the identify spell?
You got it. Yep.
Bam.
That is Brennan Lee Mulligan's identify spell from Fantasy High.
Okay. Which I have not seen, but I am very well aware of Brennan Lee Mulligan. Okay.
Oh, he's a treasure.
He is.
On the Discord, Tiger asked, what episode most exceeded your expectations based on what you remembered or heard about it beforehand?
Would this be a question for...
Yeah, that's for the two of y'all. I have talked enough.
Well, no, I was going to say just like, because I don't know what episodes. I guess like the one that you could answer, Adam, would be Marooned, because we definitely, me and Beth alluded to Marooned several times, like in the lead up of like, oh, that episode's very special, and it's a beloved, hard episode.
Right.
Because otherwise I don't know if you would really have known about episodes in advance that would have exceeded your expectations.
I would not have. Marooned is the only one I remember hearing about ahead of time.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole season kind of, especially like going into the second half, really exceeded my expectations. And my expectations were pretty high, because again, I knew that I went through it and liked it on the first go. But again, because of keeping maybe a closer eye on things with a bit more analysis, I would say like the vast majority of the episodes kind of went above and beyond of what I remembered, because there's just so much care put into every episode.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like there's a particular episode. Like I really liked the episode The Garden Plot.
I would say, yeah, definitely The Garden Plot. I think Catch the Tail by the Tiger was another one for me that I found a lot more depth on this rewatching that I had in previous watchings. Yeah, and I can't wait to continue experiencing that with season 2, you know? Like, I can read the episode descriptions and go like, oh yeah, that one. And I know that when I, rewatch it for the purposes of this podcast, I just find so many more little details and so many more layers that I'm so excited to come and talk about with you guys.
It's a genuine joy.
I think there was one little detail that we were talking about all of the cool little background critters in Fraggle Rock that now have their own Muppet Wiki page. And
oh, rad.
Yeah, and one of them actually is named that at the time I didn't know there was a name for it. Those little guys that look like kind of like a cross between a tapir and a capybara.
Oh yeah.
They're called Diggits.
Aww.
That's super rad.
And they have their own Muppet Wiki
now,
page.
Are they specifically from the Kenyu region?
Jesus
Yes,
Christ.
they are from Can You Canyon.
Oh, wow. I'm a big fan of Can You Dig It's.
And I think maybe a good place. I think maybe a good place to wrap up is with Anthony's question. I'd like to hear how you'd all make the world a little more gorgish or doozery.
I love this. When someone you know and love dies, give them a solemn memorial toot.
I'm gonna make the world a little more gorgish by, at some point, attempting to make peach and garlic pie.
Ooh, let me know how it turns out.
Yep.
Brown sugar.
Oh, that's right. I think Ren was the one talking about doing the whole caramelization thing of the garlic. So, Ren, when you're in town, we will make peach and garlic pie.
It doesn't hurt to have your own kissing rock. So then, if you want to do a smooch with someone, there's like the consent involved of like, oh, do you want to come to the kissing rock with me? And then everybody is just on the same page.
Excellent.
That's good. Also, wear a crown made out of whisks.
Yeah.
It might be a bit of a whiskey practice, but I bet you deserve it. All right, doozery. Doozerer.
Doozerish. Doozer.
Doozerian.
Ooh. Make our dreams work through our teamwork.
I was going to say working nonstop is a lot more fun if you're just wearing a yellow hard hat the entire time for doing whatever in your life.
Don't be afraid to just shift hobbies and dive completely into a completely different thing. And if that doesn't work, sing a grumpy song about it, because there's a lot of catharsis there.
Gall. Darn. Ball of yarn.
God, that's such a good rhyme. It makes me so mad. It's so perfect.
Oh, excellent. Okay, anything else before we wrap up?
I mean, this being kind of just our overlook at or look at everything we've done for this first season, are there things that we've learned from just like as podcasters, like just kind of a sneak behind the scenes, like what we've learned that works, things that have been maybe like a challenge and things that have been a joy? I just thought we could maybe touch on that a little bit to let the listeners know how it's gone.
I will say in terms of scheduling that trying to get 3, let alone 4 adult humans with full-time day jobs in the same place at the same time is just tricky, and it's always going to be tricky. And that doesn't mean that any of us are falling behind or disappointing the others when it's tough to get us all scheduled together. Like, no, that's just, modern American adulthood. And yeah, I wish we all had the time and money to devote more time and energy to things that bring us $0, but bring us a lot of joy.
This would be so much easier if we had 30-minute work weeks.
Yeah.
Bingo. There it is. But yeah, in terms of scheduling for season 2, like, yeah, I'm probably gonna put out fewer scheduling polls for longer periods of time so that we can get a whole bunch of things scheduled way in advance, and then that way I can send those dates to potential guests to like bring them on board with more notice and reach out to a wider audience than just the Tough Picks people.
Rad. If you're worried about, and maybe this is specifically for like neurodivergent community, but I find this to be true in a lot of circles. If you have status, which I guess we technically do as podcasters because we are the ones talking and people are listening to us. If you're worried about being interesting or making good content, people always want to hear about the stuff you're excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if you're genuinely excited, like if you're looking at something and you're trying to figure out what part of it to talk about the part you're excited about. Because that's the part that other people, like when you are talking about the thing that makes your brain light up, that's what's going to draw other people to want to hear you.
Yeah. Even if they thought they had zero interest in the thing, suddenly they want to listen to you.
Yeah, this is not a medium for like restrained, laid back, cool kids who don't care about things. This is a medium where like caring about things is what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been really validating and beautiful.
Yeah.
I love that people are excited to hear about my wacky theories. That's so cool. I want to hear about y'all's wacky theories.
That has all the legit information, and I didn't want to like voice my theories because some of it maybe would be, but I'm aware of things that are going to happen, so I didn't want to have to dance around too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this podcast has been a wonderful experience. I think especially because the early episodes, we had some where we were recording like with months in between just because of scheduling and kind of getting into the swing of it. Like, I don't love listening to my voice, and I was on the very first Tough Pigs podcast was Frog Kissin', which was me and my pal Laura Frazier, which we started in our early 20s, and it was just us rambling, and there was no structure, and it was a mess, and I loved making it. I think there was a lot of charm to it, but I never listened to those episodes once they went up. And this one, I didn't think I was going to either, but I was curious, and it also like has helped remind me of what we have talked about in previous episodes. But, you know, me listening early on, I just talking about myself, like I can see like this shift of early on, I felt like I was holding back a little bit. And maybe it's because like this is my first time like meeting Adam doing this podcast, and I don't know, like being neurodivergent, I always get like and having anxiety, get so anxious about, you know, what if like I say the wrong thing, and like what if I don't remember these facts. And so it's been really nice like in getting to know Adam more, and also like Beth, we've known each other, but getting to know you more as well. Like, I don't know, seeing like the growth of like the relationship between the three of us, and like the ongoing like references or inside jokes that keep popping up. And for me, like getting to talk about Fraggle Rock and Jim Henson, I mean, that's what sold me on like wanting to do this podcast, because I love this world, I love this medium. But I think like what's ended up being the biggest treat for me is building friendships, getting to like bring folks on and like, you know, pick their brains as well on what we've been talking about all season. But I don't know, I just wanted to say that it's been such a joy getting to share this space with you. And, you know, we reference in every episode, at least one of us is like, I'm so tired. And it is so hard being adults and like doing this side project when we already have so many other side projects going on as well. But, you know, it's worth doing because it's nice that, you know, folks listen and have a connection, but it's also nice getting to, you know, once every week, every other week, couple times a month, getting to just sit here with you on Zoom and talk about Fraggles. It's great.
It is very nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, well said, Julia.
It has been wonderful getting to know you too, Julia.
Yeah.
And it's so, I think I speak for both of us, it's so nice to just get to regularly hang out with Beth too, because Beth lives in a different state than I do, and I usually only get to see Beth like 2 times a year.
Yeah.
I mean, Beth lives in the same city as me, and I think I see Beth probably 2 to 4 times a year, depending on if I've got like a backyard thing, or if you come out to a poetry event, and that's or another tough pig is in town and we do a gathering.
Right.
So yeah, this is also a nice way to get to see Beth for me, even though we live like a 20-minute drive apart.
This is what 21st century friendship is.
It truly is.
It really is.
It's piecing together the bits and pieces of when you can see each other in person, and if you can't, you know, you hang out online and you make it work. And it's all real life. Online is real life. It's all, you know, I'm tangenting again.
Hi, tangenting again. I'm Adam.
That's also like the tag for this podcast is tangenting again.
Parentheses neurodivergence. Parentheses manic humanism. Colon. I'm having a lot of feelings and I need to process that musically. Roman numerals 3.
Colon season 2 Electric Boogaloo is coming soon. We are going to take a bit of a break in between seasons, but so yes, we do not currently have the air date for season 2 yet, but when we do, I will drop that in the Tough Pigs Discord. Another reason to come hang out there.
And we do this specifically so we can make sure we have a bit of a backlog so that we can keep a consistent posting schedule when we do.
Yes.
Because we figure that it would probably be a little bit easier for you, the listener, to like know when we're going to start and then have a very consistent run than to update when schedules permit.
Yeah.
All right, Beth, where can people find you?
You can find me on social media at Beth Anna Cook. That's Anna with 2 N's. And occasionally writing stuff for toughpigs.com.
And you could find me at Geek Girl Grown Up on Instagram mostly at this point. I'm not on Twitter ever anymore for obvious reasons. If you like poetry, I'm also at juliagaskell.com. I've mentioned this like a time or two. I do host like poetry events here if you live in or around Portland, Oregon. I don't know how many of you there would be, but I host a show called Slamlandia. If you're looking for like a cool destination trip, there's a 3-day poetry festival that I'm the unofficial director for, happening this June, called the Bigfoot Poetry Festival, where there's a slam tournament and a bunch of just like free day events as well. So if you're in the area, there's a lot of poetry. And otherwise, you can also find me at toughpigs.com.
Nice. You can find me, but before you do, ask yourself, do you really want to? Wouldn't that spoil the mystery? Can't we just let this be?
There you go.
And on that note,
don't forget to dance your cares away.
Down at Fraggle Talk.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Excellent. Fraggle Talk Classic is brought to you by toughpigs.com. Fraggle Talk art by Dave Hulteen Jr. The Fraggle Rock mark and logo, characters, and elements are trademarks of the Jim Henson Company. All rights reserved. The Fraggle Rock theme song, written by Philip Balsam and Dennis Lee, is used with permission. Special thanks to the Jim Henson Company and the entire Fraggle Rock family. For more from Tough Pigs, please find us at Tough Pigs on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, TeePublic, and Patreon. Fraggle Talk Classic is produced and edited by me, Beth Cook. Thank you to Joe Hennis, the Tough Pigs Muppet Fan Podcast executive producer. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time, down at Fraggle Talk.
Recording. And of course, the dog I'm sitting is now decided to growl because 2 people are walking outside. Hey, Richie, we're not going to do that. You got a knot for the next hour. Just go to sleep. I love you, little werewolf. All right.
And we've got our outline tag.